Hello and welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be a bit of a piggyback from my last video about Sweeney, and there's something I've been noticing in the media, not even just lately, but I feel like it's been happening for so long and people were afraid to talk about it. Now, when it comes to the exotical space, we are pro MSL, which stands for mixed and or light-skinned women, or anyone that benefits from certain isms. Because when it comes to the other side of the conversation, certain people with certain political backgrounds, and by the end of this video you'll know who, feel the need to confuse activism and being an activist with their own insecurities and their own shortcomings. And they project this racial superiority. They do it to mixed women too, and light-skinned women too. Like, oh, you were probably a rape baby because the slave master raped your ancestor, or oh, you're part pollinator, so you can only celebrate half of Black History Month. And even though these things are jokes, if it was the other way around, if, you know, calling someone a monkey can get you canceled, why isn't the same when you call mixed women mutts, right? So this whole agenda of, you know, being able to throw rocks and hide your hands, they've been doing it to exoticals for years. And I think now white people, they're fed up with it. A lot of people have colorism fatigue, racism fatigue, because of shit like this. Now, if you thought that someone accusing Sweeney of being a Nazi because of a pair of blue jeans was ridiculous, get a hold of this. I'm going to show you guys a video.
Doing these things and I see your eye color and your hair as a sign of your good genes, then that means someone who has a different hair or eye color doesn't have good genes.
That is being racist.
First of all, you don't get denim blue without black hands, without black knowledge. So why are they still centering whiteness to sell us something
weird, like fascist weird? Should we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making fascist propaganda like this? Probably not.
Don't know why. Maybe because it's just so blatant. I keep thinking that people just are not gonna believe us until we're hung out there, but then even then I feel like they'll be like, oh no.
You are a whole Sweeney, American Eagle, I got good genes debacle. Even more egregious is that blonde hair and blue eyes is not even good genes. Blonde hair and blue eyes are literally genetic mutations. They're literally recessive genes. Eugenics became a thing because yes, blackness was seen as the disability. Blackness was seen as the unworthy genetic material that we didn't want to persist, while having the wool pulled over people's eyes at this idea that whiteness is the beacon of
have good genes, but you burn in the sun. Why is that always overlooked?
Sweeney ad, have you seen it?
Oh, yes, I have.
What are your thoughts?
Trying to calm myself, but that would, Sweeney has good genes. Really? Like, the eugenics in that, it's dripping with it, and I'm like,
Okay, so that's enough of that. All those people sound like so annoying to me, but the part that I want you guys to focus on is, have you noticed the hypocrisy when it comes to, and you know, one of the things I love about the exotical space are the talking points. A lot of people, they're just so in their feelings. All they want to do is like poke the finger at someone else and, you know, clock someone else instead of realizing how they look and sound. And when it comes to the whole, this is activism and we're trying to stop fascism and racism and white supremacy, what? Because whenever, you know, and I know a lot about eugenics. This is something I was actually interested in. And yes, it does have racist roots because of the people who invented it, but that's not like where it ends. And a lot of people practice this in their own way. It is natural for you to want to have a family that looks like you, right? Interracial dating isn't an issue. People have their own things with that, but it's natural to want your children to look like you. And this is not just something they do to exoticals by saying, oh, why are two light-skinned people dating? You guys are trying to keep your bloodline light-skinned, or if you're Creole, then you guys purposely do other light-skinned looking people. They do it to white people too, like calling them inbred, you know, saying stuff like blonde hair and blue eyes is a defect, so all white people are like siblings or something, and that's why they're this or that. Like, they play this genetically superior race card every chance that they get, whether they want to bring up the Eve gene, whether they want to bring up the fact that you know, in most countries the original people of those, you know, countries were people of color. And that's another thing. And I was going to do a video on this, but it's just so ridiculous. The whole we was the first this, we was kings, we was that. If you look at the stuff that they're saying it's the Eve gene, that goes back to like East Africa. They're very genetically, so genetically concentrated. That's like more East Africa, like even when you trace all that stuff back, like religious wise and stuff, like where they're getting all this information from, it's from like East Africa, right? So a lot of like Black Americans and just Americans in general, sometimes they have this victim mindset where they will pinpoint things in history as confirmation bias just to be assholes to other people. And the worst part is they're not sticking to their same talking points. I'm going to show you guys some pictures so you can see what I mean. And by the way, I'm not one of those people that think that Black people can't be racist. In fact, like Black people can be even more racist, and they think that because they're at the bottom of the totem pole in society, that they can get away with what is essentially, in my opinion, reverse abuse, or like I think that's what it's called, like when someone is attacking someone else but seeing themselves as like the victim. So yeah, like it's definitely giving that. And I'm looking at all these pictures, we bleed the same blood, or skin tone shouldn't be a way to be prejudiced against someone. But whenever y'all see white people, y'all automatically assume that they're all skinheads and stuff, right? And at the same time, you want to associate yourself with white culture, So it doesn't really make sense. You can't say, hey, give us representation, let us into these spaces. Meanwhile, while you hate these people. And I think I have seen that, like, even like, certain women who do interracial dating, they will low-key hate white people and be trying to like convert their white partner into being a hotep instead of just letting that person love you for you, So I'm also going to show you guys a video about this tragic and unfortunate event. And trigger warning, it's very upsetting. So if you're not into stuff like that, go ahead and click off. But a family was unfortunately, they passed away. There was a plane crash, and instead of people sending prayers and good thoughts to the family, they went spamming the comment section because the family was Republican and they voted for Trump. And there was an infant, like a baby, on that plane. And it barely got off the ground. It flew, what they say, maybe 1 or 2 miles and crashed into someone else's home. So multiple people were injured. And that's all that people could talk about, was the fact that they were Republican. And it's to the point to where it's disturbing. And I always say there's 2 types of evil people in the world: people that do evil things and people that see evil things being done and do nothing about it. And I'm showing you guys these pictures of these slogans or these, talking points that they use on their posters and stuff that clearly you guys don't adhere to, because that's a human life, right? So yeah, I'm going to show you guys this video so you can see.
It's making headlines everywhere and it's devastating. Have y'all heard the story about the family of 3, the LeRoy family out of Idaho, who just tragically lost their lives in a plane crash? Listen, y'all, get in here. So apparently a husband, a wife, and their 2-year-old son, who honestly just turned 2, lost their life tragically in a plane crash. The father pretty much built this plane, or bought it and did work on it. Whatever the case may be, the mom had a viral video going around just days ago of their 2-year-old son riding his bike around his dad's plane while you could see the father working on the plane. And then in the caption said, imagine growing up riding your bike around your dad's plane before your dad flies you and your mom wherever you want to go in the world. They finally took that ride in that plane, y'all, and 2 miles from leaving their destination, the plane took a nosedive and struck the backyard of someone's residential home. Okay, so sad. People were so easily able to identify who the family was because had her video not went viral, and you could see like the number that was on the tail wing of the plane, they were able to identify that number and realize, hey, this is the family from the viral video the other day with the little boy that was riding his bike around the plane. They instantly took it to social media and started sharing her video. It's already on Justine's LeRoy's TikTok page, which has over 19 million views and counting because everybody is going to her page. Now, what strikes me is I'm not all into politics like that, but when people found out that Justine in one of her videos was wearing a Make America Great Again hat in support of Donald Trump, they instantly started feeling no remorse for this family. They instantly said, well, they're Republicans, they deserved it. I don't believe anybody should deserve it, especially this little baby who had absolutely no choice in the world whatsoever. No matter who his family is voting for, does not justify anybody losing their life, okay? Now, politics never was that serious, okay? I do want to say, please have some respect and dignity when you go visit either one of those parents' page, Justine or her husband, because they are people and they do have family who are really mourning right now and really heartbroken over this tragedy. It's an instant tragedy because this was not planned or known, you know, that it was going to happen.
Because why? I fear that we have lost the plot, because why did this entire family just die, yet the only thing people can focus on is whether they deserve sympathy or not based on who they voted for? This is the LeRoy family, and they were from Eagle, Idaho. And just a few days after the mom, Justine, posted this TikTok, the whole family passed away in a plane crash in Nampa, Idaho.
This is what's left here in Nampa of that plane crash that happened here last night around 5:40 p.m. We do know that 3 people have sadly died in that plane crash.
And as y'all can see, that's their same family plane from the TikTok there. Now, luckily, nobody on the ground was hurt. However, there is still an investigation underway to figure out what happened. Witnesses reported the plane circling unsteadily at low altitude before plummeting. The husband and wife, Brandon and Justine, died at the scene, whereas their 23-month-old son, Paxton, died at the hospital. At first, everyone was offering their condolences, but then others did some research and found out that the parents were Republicans. Justine, who was also a stay-at-home mom, was very active on social media, and people were quick to find her election day post wearing the infamous red hat. Now you have some people who believe that the family no longer deserves sympathy because of who they voted for, and it got so bad to where a family member of Justine's had to come and make this comment. They wrote, "Hello, Justine was my sister, and I would just like to please ask everyone to stop saying that she and her family deserve death because of her political views. I personally did not agree with her, but she's still my sister, and I will continue to grieve the loss of her life." I need to know what y'all think about this, because I completely understand not wanting to date, befriend, or even like somebody because of their political views. But are we now at a point in our society to where sympathy is only given to people whose political views are the same as ours? You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, the whole family is gone. So does it really matter who they voted for? I fear
did this cute video not knowing it would be the last time she saw her son. So this is the LeRoy family, and they have gone extremely viral in the past couple of days after the recent post that said this: "Imagine growing up riding your bike around your dad's plane before he takes you and your mom wherever you want." And little did they know, after that one post, they would all not be here, because shortly after that post, they all passed in a plane crash. As of right now, authorities still say they have no idea how this happened, but they're currently investigating it. So hopefully the family, as well as us, will have closure anytime soon. This mom posted this cute video.
So yeah, I'm definitely sending my condolences to the family, and it's just really tragic. And again, I think that is evil. And you know, a lot of people feel like they're tired of the whole racism, colorism shit. Obviously, if it's genuine activism and you know, genuine advocacy, that's one thing. But a lot of times, it's just racial insecurity or racial supremacy from the same people that are projecting that onto others, right? And the fact that the same things they say about exoticals dating each other, they say it about white people too. Like, they make it seem like it's incestual, which if we really want to pull that card, a lot of, like, and I know it happens in other households too, but yeah, a lot of black families have that problem. So it just gives projection at this point. And I think it's really disturbing. And yeah, if you feel that way, it's really sick. And that family doesn't deserve that, you know? And they did the same thing to Hulk Hogan. I don't know if you guys know him. And I don't know a lot about him, so I'm not going to give my opinion on it. But if someone dies, you don't need to celebrate because you think that they're racist. Like, I don't know. It gives kind of weird. I think once upon a time, certain things were, it makes sense. Like, I think about Emmett Till and how he was wrongly accused and the horrific things that happened to him. Now his family can celebrate because that makes sense. But you just celebrating because someone's family died is really fucked up. So yeah, that's just my opinion on that. And I think that, a lot of people, they're not going to have sympathy for certain things anymore. Because I think about even white women being called Karens when they're advocating for themselves. Now, sometimes older generations and stuff, like millennials and stuff like that, they do be annoying to customer service. So I'm glad we're pointing that out. But 9 times out of 10, when you hear someone being called a Karen now, it's literally just a white woman advocating for herself. But when black women do it, we want us to sit here and listen to all your boo-hoos and complaints, right? You don't want us to call you the angry black woman, right? So, yeah. I want to know you guys' opinion on this. Do you think that this was, acceptable, or do you think it was weird and you think it should be called out? Let me know. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much.